Welcome to a new build report. This time I decided to go for a simple 1/44th scale kit again, the YF-23 from Trumpeter. The YF-23 was an American experimental aircraft developed in the early 90s as part of the ATF program, competing against what later became the F-22 Raptor. Just by looking at the instructions, you can already tell that this kit should be relatively easy to build. The aircraft itself is almost entirely painted in dark grey and the number of decals is also quite limited. I started the build by adding rivet details across the whole airframe, just to give the model a bit more interest. After that I went over these rivets and the few existing panel lines with an AK marker to bring them out. The next step in the pre-shading process was to spray random patterns using a stencil, which helps add a bit more depth to the finish later on. Then I moved on to the cockpit. I added some nose weight, painted a few instruments and buttons, and installed a control stick. The fuselage halves fit together nicely, so only minimal cleanup was needed. After that I masked off the canopy using masking fluid. For priming I used MRP primer this time. As the main color I chose medium gunship grey from Ammo. As always I tried to apply only thin coats so the pre-shading would still show through. Unfortunately the color turned out to be far too light, so I had to mix in some black. Sadly that ended up covering most of the pre-shading. I kept going anyway and painted the exhausts and those unusual air intakes using AK markers. Then I installed the landing gear. Next it was time for the decals. No idea why some of them are yellow, but at least I didn't have any issues applying them. What is a bit annoying with this kit though is that there aren't enough decals for these control surfaces, so I placed most of them where they would be still visible later on. Finally I glued on the pitot tubes. That part was quite fiddly. After that I removed the masking fluid from the canopy and my YF-23 was done. To be honest, I consider this model one of my weakest builds. It's really just one color overall and it's missing that certain something. Still I find the YF-23 itself very interesting. After all, it was the competitor to my favorite aircraft, the F-22 Raptor. By the way, I've built the Raptor too. If you haven't seen that video yet, you can find it on my channel. Anyway, this was quite a nice little project for in between. My next model is already finished too, so stay tuned for new videos. Thank you for watching, leave some comments and see you in the next one. Bye!